Don't feel like wrestling with a 15-pound turkey this Thanksgiving? Then let me show you my favorite way to make turkey. It's a 3-pound boneless turkey breast. I cook it in my multi-cooker, better known as an Instant Pot, and it turns out fantastic every time. So stick with me and I'll show you how to turn this into this. Welcome back to Nancy's Homestyle Kitchen, where I share how to cook real food with simple ingredients and no pressure to be perfect. When you open the turkey roast, you're going to get the roast itself and a packet of gravy. And it is a concentrated turkey gravy base. So today I'm going to show you how to use the drippings from cooking the turkey to also make a fantastic gravy. The other things that you're going to need are olive oil, pepper, some chicken stock. I have some herbs here. I have poultry seasoning and Herbs de Provence. And then I have a Mirepoix, or it's also considered a sofrito. It's basically carrots, celery, and onions. And the only other thing we need is 2 tablespoons of butter. So I'll get this all cleared off, set up my multi-cooker, and we'll begin cooking. To get started, I've put 2 tablespoons of butter into the bottom of my multi-cooker, and I have it set to the sear saute setting because we're gonna coat this turkey breast and get it seared here before we pressure cook it. So I'm just doing about a tablespoon of olive oil, and there's 2 tablespoons of butter in there. So then take your turkey breast. Now this is already seasoned, so we're not gonna heavily season it. But what I like to do is just coat it with some olive oil on all sides. And then I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit more seasoning on it. But this savory herb seasoning that comes with it is really, really nice. So I'm gonna put some Herbs de Provence, maybe in total about a half teaspoon to a teaspoon, and then some poultry seasoning because I like that traditional turkey flavor, that Thanksgiving notes of sage, parsley, thyme. That's what I'm going for. Okay, you can hear the sear saute setting is ready, so we're just gonna put this directly into the bottom. And I'm going to sear it for a couple minutes on each side, just till it gets nice and golden brown. So these turkey roasts come with a netting on it, and the netting extended the roast a couple inches. So I just cut those off because I don't need all that extra string. And the string does come off easily after the turkey is cooked. So I have that first side done. I'm just turning it over. This recipe is awesome if you live in an RV, you have a small kitchen space, or you're a student. Actually, that's why I have this multi-cooker, because it is not only like a pressure cooker, it's an air fryer. And when we traveled and lived full time in our RV for 18 months, I use this thing constantly. So it's such a time saver, and I really like with this recipe too, that pretty much you just cook everything in one pot. The cleanup is super simple. You're not sitting there trying to cook this big turkey roast and then carve it. And when it comes to Thanksgiving, I'm really in it for the side dishes, people. Turkey is kind of lower on my priority list when it comes to my favorites at Thanksgiving time. Okay, this is ready to be pulled out. As you can see, it's just got a nice little golden brown color to it on all sides. I'm going to add a little bit more olive oil to the bottom of the pan. And then now I'm gonna saute these vegetables, and then this will sit in the bottom of the pressure cooker and just help add more depth of flavor to the drippings for us to make our gravy. So this will just take a few minutes. I'm just gonna saute them till the onions and celery are soft. The carrots will take a little bit longer. So I would say just a good 3 to 4 minutes, and then we'll go ahead and put the turkey in and go on to the next step. So it's been just a few minutes, and the nice thing about this too is I was able to scrape all the brown bits off the bottom of the multi-cooker, and that's where a lot of flavor is, so you want to be sure to get those all up. So we are going to add the little rack that comes in your multi-cooker, and this one, it goes high so I can have the turkey roast up here, or this is low. I want this as low as it will go. So I'm just gonna nestle that in there above the Mirepoix. Put the turkey breast roast right on top, and then we're gonna add some low sodium chicken stock, and I'm gonna do about a cup. And this doesn't need to be perfect. You just want to make sure you at least have a cup, because you need this liquid to create the steam. And then we'll be using what's in the bottom of this to make the gravy. So that's maybe a cup and a half. Okay, let me find my lid. Here it is. Okay, as always, make sure the seal of the lid is in place and your pressure release valve moves. And we will go ahead, put this on, and let me spin this around so I can see. Okay, I'm gonna turn it off. Okay, I can't see. Turn it back on, and I need pressure on high, and I'm gonna do it for 33 minutes. If this was a fully thawed turkey breast, you would do it for about 25. But I noticed, even though I had the turkey breast sitting in the refrigerator for about 2 days, it was still kind of frozen in the middle. So I'm adding about 8 minutes to it. Okay? Then come back here, make sure the valve is set to sealing, because we want that pressure to build up. And it will just build pressure, the little safety valve will pop up, and it'll start a countdown. We're gonna go ahead and let this cook for the 33 minutes, and then when it's done, I'm gonna stop, and I'm not gonna touch anything. I'm just gonna let it sit for about 10 minutes or so, about 10 to 15. Then I'll take the lid off, and we'll go ahead and temperature check it then. I had to look this up because I really didn't know. During that 10 to 15 minute natural release cycle, is the temperature of the turkey breast gonna reduce, giving me a false reading on if the temperature is accurate enough, because we need it to get to 165. And what I learned is as long as this is sealed and there's still pressure in there, it is still actually cooking the turkey. So taking the temperature after that bit of a natural release cycle is totally safe. So we'll let this do its thing, and then I'll be back when we go ahead and temp check it. Okay, the 10-minute natural release has happened, so I'm gonna go ahead and flip my vent back here to open or vent position so I can let the rest of the steam escape. I'm just gonna wait for the safety valve to depress, and then we can take the lid off. There we go. It has depressed, and you can see the last little bit of steam coming out. I'm gonna wait until I can't see any more steam, and then I'll take the lid off with it going away from me, so that if there is anything, it will not come up into my face. So I think we're good to go. It smells wonderful in the kitchen. It smells like Thanksgiving, and it's really getting me excited for the Thanksgiving season. Okay, set this back here, and let's get our temperature. Again, we need it close to 165, and we are just a bit over 165. So we are good to go. I am going to take this out, and then I clean this very well with hot soapy water. You don't want to put your cooked turkey back on the one that you had your raw turkey on. So put that down there. And then we're gonna tent it with foil and just let it rest. So earlier when I was saying if your turkey registers just under 165, go ahead and just leave it in your multi-cooker and put the lid back on. You don't need to re-pressure cook it. Just let it sit there in that hot steam for a little bit more, because there is something called carryover cooking and it will come up a little bit more in temperature. But this is good for now. And then let's get started making the gravy. The gravy is very simple. Just pull out the inner pot, strain out your Mirepoix, and then the broth, you're gonna pour it into a fat separator. I use about 2 cups, let it sit for a moment and see that fat rise to the top, then take it back over, dump all that nice broth back into your Instant Pot. Go ahead and turn it on sear saute setting, add the gravy base concentrate from the turkey, give it a whisk, and boil it for 3 to 5 minutes. All right, the turkey and gravy are done, so we are ready to cut it open, and we'll get it out here on our little serving tray. So the twine or the little net is on here, so just kind of pull it up. It does feel like it's stuck in the meat, but it comes out really easy. And just cut all the way through. This is where cutting that excess off before you cook it helps. Oh no, it's taking meat with it. Okay, we will save that because we don't let the turkey meat go to waste. So then all we need to do is just slice it up. Whew, it is still pretty hot. And I love that there is like absolutely no waste with this turkey. I mean, you buy 3 pounds of meat, you're eating 3 pounds of meat. There isn't, I'm just not really a big fan of the legs and stuff. And I just kind of feel like a lot of people in my family aren't either, and it goes to waste. So I do like this. I also like that I can make 2 or 3 of these ahead of time, slice them, and just put them in a pan in the refrigerator. Kind of like how I do my less mess, no carb Easter ham. Same thing, because my family doesn't really sit down at the table with the big turkey presented and then everything on the table. We're more like kind of buffet style service. So this works out really good, and I can get it done ahead of time. So that way on Thanksgiving Day, when I need to cook all of my favorite side dishes, my oven is totally free for that. And then I can just pop this sliced turkey in the oven at the last minute, get it warmed up, and we're ready to go. Okay, really? How beautiful is this? So let me get a plate and we'll take a taste test. Here we are. A very quick and simple turkey for your Thanksgiving, along with a nice gravy to go with it. So let's go ahead and pour some gravy on here, and then we'll give it a taste test. Look at how beautiful that gravy is. Now, normally I would just serve the gravy on the side. Okay. There's a little blood, but whatever, we're going with it. What I was gonna say is normally I just serve the gravy on the side. I don't pour it on the turkey. I just let people serve themselves the turkey. And also normally I make about twice as much gravy because my boys love mashed potatoes and gravy. So let's get that on there. That was just like a little skin that had formed on the top of the gravy while I was taking some pictures of the finished plate for you. So anyway, here we go. It is so juicy and tender, and I get all of the spices. It totally tastes like your traditional Thanksgiving turkey, especially with the sage from the poultry seasoning that we added. And the gravy is just a nice, clean, simple, traditional turkey gravy. So anyway, I hope you guys give this a try. Let me know in the comments if you do, or if you've ever made this before. And if this is the type of content that you would like to continue to see on this channel, please hit that like button and subscribe. And then I will see you next week with another recipe from my kitchen.